Most tax returns that are submitted to the IRS are accepted for e-file without a hitch, but a small number of e-filed returns will be rejected for a variety of reasons. This video presents 10 of the most common reasons tax returns are rejected by the IRS and tells you how to fix the problem and get your return filed. I'm the Tax Geek, and here are e-file rejects and how to fix them, oversimplified. When a return is rejected for e-file, the IRS will send a reject message containing a reject code, a brief description of the reason for rejection, and, if applicable, the last 4 digits of the Social Security number or employer identification number that's causing the return to reject. Fixing a rejected return can be as easy as correcting some of the data on the return, or adding a required form to the return and resubmitting the return for e-file. However, some rejected returns can only be rectified by printing out a copy of the return and mailing it to the IRS. So here are 10 reasons returns are rejected for e-file and how to fix these rejections. Problem number 1. Social Security numbers and names reported on the return do not match what the IRS has on file through the Social Security Administration. Make sure the first and last name and Social Security number listed on the return exactly matches the name on that person's Social Security card. If there was a recent name change, make sure the change has been sent to the Social Security Administration. Hyphenated names and names with apostrophes can be problematic, and you might have to try a couple of versions of the name when trying to e-file. Problem number 2. The name and Social Security number of a taxpayer or spouse has already been used as the primary taxpayer on a previously filed return. This is problematic. You may be the victim of tax identity theft. Dealing with tax identity theft is a serious subject that deserves its own video, but very simply, the tax return has to be filed on paper, accompanied by Form 14039 Identity Theft Affidavit. The IRS will then attempt to verify the identity of both filers and void the return of the imposter, allowing for the processing of the victim's return. Problem number 3. The name and Social Security number of a dependent has already been used as the primary taxpayer on a previously filed return. This isn't quite as serious as the previous problem, although tax identity theft can be involved. Most of the time, the cause is perfectly innocent. Robert Jr. was so excited to file his first tax return and get his $65 refund, he didn't know he had to check the box indicating he was the dependent of another taxpayer, depriving his parents of a $2,000 child tax credit. Robert Jr. needs to amend his return, indicating he is the dependent of another taxpayer, and after the IRS processes the amendment, his parents can go ahead and e-file the return. Robert Jr.'s refund shouldn't change. Problem number 4. The name and Social Security number of a dependent listed on the return has already been used as a dependent on a previously filed return. This usually happens when 2 people try to claim the same dependent. Most often this happens with divorced or estranged couples who can't agree on who claims the child. The return will have to be filed on paper. The IRS will seek proper documentation from each filer. Form 886 DEP lists what kind of documentation you should provide. Upon receiving this documentation, the IRS will apply their tiebreaker rules and award the tax benefits to the filer who has the higher right to claim the dependent. Problem number 5. The name and Social Security number of a taxpayer filing as single is listed on the return of another taxpayer filing as married filing separately. To fix this, the taxpayer either needs to e-file the return as married filing separately, or try to convince the other spouse to amend his or her return to married filing jointly and include both spouses' incomes on the joint return. Problem number 6. A taxpayer, spouse, or dependent listed on the return requires an Identity Protection Personal Identification Number to e-file the return, and the IP PIN is missing or incorrect. Any person can request an Identity Protection PIN from the IRS so that no one can e-file a return without that person's Social Security number and the IP PIN. For returns filed in 2023, the IRS mailed out the IP PIN for that year in November or December of 2022. The IP PIN changes annually, and all e-filed returns filed for that year must contain that year's IP PIN. If you lost your IP PIN or never received it due to an address change, you can get a new one mailed to you by calling the IRS Identity Theft Hotline at 1-800-908-4490 or go online to www.irs.gov/get-an-IP-PIN. Once you start receiving IP PINs, you will need a new one each year. You cannot reuse an IP PIN from a previous year. Problem number 7. The taxpayer and/or spouse received a first-time homebuyer credit in 2008 and did not file Forms 5405 with the return to pay back the credit. The first-time homebuyer credit given to homebuyers in 2008 was required to be repaid in 15 equal annual installments of $500 starting in 2010. The payment is reported using Form 5405. If the home was purchased jointly, each spouse needs to file a separate Form 5405, each showing repayment of $250, although the return itself can be filed jointly. If you no longer own the home or are no longer with your spouse, it can get complicated and is a story for another time. Fortunately, 2024 is the last year these repayments will have to be made. Problem number 8. The taxpayer, spouse, or any dependent listed on the return purchased health insurance through the federal or state marketplace, and Form 8962 is not included with the tax return. If you or anyone else listed on the return received an advanced premium tax credit, the information on Form 1095A must be entered into the return, and the premium tax credit must be calculated and reconciled to the advanced premium tax credit. If you lost or didn't receive a 1095A form from the health insurance marketplace, you can get a replacement online by logging into your healthcare.gov account. It can be the case that someone listed on the return might be sharing a marketplace policy with someone who is not listed on the return. In this example, Michelle claims her son William as a dependent, but William's father Stephen lists William on his marketplace insurance policy. In that case, the premium tax credit needs to be allocated between William and Stephen using a process that's beyond the scope of this video. Whatever the case, you need to enter the information from the Form 1095A into the tax return and generate a Form 8962. You should then be able to e-file the return. Problem number 9. The taxpayer was denied an earned income credit or child tax credit in a previous year and didn't include Form 8862 to recertify that he or she is now properly eligible to receive these credits. If you had an earned income credit, child tax credit, or American Opportunity Credit ever denied, reduced, or taken away from you in a previous year, you must fill out Form 8862 to claim any of these credits in the present year. Failure to include this form with your e-filed return will result in its rejection. Answer the questions on the form, resubmit the return, and the return will be accepted. And finally, problem number 10. An e-file PIN or adjusted gross income from the prior year does not match what the IRS has on file. If you e-file your return online or with DIY software, you must provide an e-file PIN, usually in the form of the previous year's adjusted gross income. If it doesn't match, the return will be rejected. This e-file PIN should not be confused with the identity protection PIN mentioned earlier. Your prior year adjusted gross income can be found on line 11 of your 2021 Form 1040. Make every effort you can to get your prior AGI. Otherwise, don't guess. 10 incorrect AGI guesses will lock you out of the e-file system permanently for that year, and the return will have to be mailed in. The reasons returns might be rejected for e-file is not limited to these 10. To find out what they are, as well as the meaning of all the IRS reject codes, there are resources and additional information in the video description. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who would find it useful. To get notified of new Tax Geek videos, subscribe and click the notification bell. Of course, your questions, comments, and suggestions are always welcome in the comment space below. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more of your taxes oversimplified.